name is Pam Traylor. I work in victim assistance with the District Attorney's Office. I work with victims from age 2, 3 to senior adults. They'd be victims of crime from theft to sexual assault of a child, murder, domestic violence, things like that. I'd gotten some literature that showed different district attorney's offices and law enforcement using dogs in the courtroom and also in trial, and helping them interview children that they have to testify.
I'm Phil Grant. I'm the first assistant district attorney here in Montgomery County, Texas. My job is to oversee the day-to-day operations of our office and just keep things running smoothly. Well, Pam Traylor came to us and explained her interest in this project and asked if she could have permission to pursue a dog for our office. We looked at the materials and thought it was at least a good idea to check it out and see if it was something that would be beneficial for our office. I had some concerns. I'm not one of those people that you would describe as a kind of a touchy-feely guy. I'm more of a practical, black and white operations guy. So I was concerned it would come off as kind of gimmicky and not be really useful in the everyday practice of what we do. But I was willing to give it a shot. Obviously concerned about having a dog in the office environment, all the practical considerations that you have with a dog, as well as, you know, some dogs that I've encountered are extremely energetic and not very disciplined, and when you're in an environment like this where you're dealing with victims of violent crime and pretty major offenses, having a dog running around and being disruptive is not the best addition to the office environment. But I was pleasantly surprised when Ranger came to our office. He's one of the most well-behaved and calmest dogs I think I've ever encountered. He's extremely well-disciplined, friendly, super quiet, super reserved, just is kind of a really calming presence in the office, as well as lifting spirits wherever he seems to poke his nose into. So he's been a great addition, and I think he has been a real practical benefit to our everyday prosecution, which I think is obviously the ultimate goal, is to see if Ranger can help kids deal with the criminal justice system better when they unfortunately are involved in it, and he's doing a great job of that.
My name is Sherry Culberson. I am one of the assistant district attorneys here at Montgomery County District Attorney's Office. I'm the chief prosecutor of the 359th District Court. I prosecute all felonies, and that includes anything from a murder to a theft to a sexual assault of a child. Anything that's considered a felony in Texas is in the venue of our district courts. When we first learned we were getting Ranger, we thought that's going to be perfect, because often we have to deal with child victims, and we're always looking for new ways to break barriers between children and adults who have just met them. And these children have to tell stories about horrific, traumatic, tragic things that have happened to them, and they're having to tell it to strangers. And so often we were relegated to play therapy or using toys or drawing, and those things were great. But when we learned we were getting Ranger, we knew we were getting a new tool to help children feel comfortable, and that is the thing that we strive to do, is make children who have been victimized and traumatized feel comfortable. But what we didn't know is that Ranger was going to turn out to be a great tool for adult victims as well. We had an adult victim recently who saw Ranger and decided that she wanted Ranger to come live at her house because she felt so comfortable with him immediately. Not only has Ranger helped the victims, but he's also helped us. It's really helped us have something to look forward to when we see Ranger and Pam coming down the hallway. But it's also given us, as prosecutors at least, something to focus on in the room when we're talking to victims. Because as uncomfortable as it is for a victim to tell his or her story, it's also sometimes uncomfortable to hear that story. And to have Ranger there to break down that barrier, to make us feel more comfortable and give us some common ground, has been really, really useful, and we're so glad that he's here.
We don't deal with juvenile cases, it's through our county attorney's office, and so it's a different division. But one of the victims, a juvenile victim, came up to meet Ranger, and just to meet him, not anticipating any outcome from that other than just to meet him. And in meeting him, she requested that he come to trial with her and help her testify. So we got the approval of the juvenile prosecutor and the judge, and he was able to go in the courtroom with her. And that was his first courtroom appearance. The little victim was very, very afraid to testify and to be confronted with the defendant, the accuser. And she was able to walk in the courtroom with him, and he sat underneath her feet while she testified for about an hour. And she held his leash, gave her the confidence to be able to testify, and she made it through.
Rob Freyer, Assistant DA, Montgomery County DA's office. I'm in charge of the Major Crimes Division. Whenever he comes around, people stop what they're doing just to get an opportunity to visit with him. I know I like to go upstairs to visit with him up in Pam's office, and you know, he's just an awesome dog. I can't say enough good things about him.
Well, he's been able to participate both in child witness interviews as well as some courtroom testimony, and he's just a real calming influence on kids that are going through what is really a traumatic and very unusual experience for them. And to have a dog that is just kind of a calming presence right there with them when they're going through that process has been really beneficial to get them talking and to get them to be more communicative about some of these really terrible things that have happened to them. We were concerned that the judges wouldn't be receptive to this program, but just the opposite. They're now requesting his help in interviewing children that are involved in divorce proceedings where it might be traumatic for them to have to talk to the judge about where they might want to live. And he is, you know, we're open to using him wherever he can be of the most use throughout the courthouse complex and in all different types of cases. We've made him available, and the judges are really receptive to that.
It's everything I hoped it would be. That's what we were looking for. There's so many times we are not able to go forward with a case because our victims aren't able to testify. And if our victims don't testify, most of the time, unless we can reach a plea agreement, the case doesn't go forward. And then we know someone that is out there that possibly did this to this person, and we can't punish him. So we need that victim to be able to testify. So he helps us do that.
I think a lot of DA's offices are going to think that it's going to be a real disruption of their day-to-day operations, and if you pick the right personnel to deal with a dog or to be assigned to the management of the dog, and you're lucky enough to get a dog like Ranger, you're really going to be pleasantly surprised at the benefits that can have within your office environment and the effectiveness of your work with kids specifically.
The reason I chose Texas Hearing and Service Dogs was because of the fact that they only use rescue dogs and the positive training, the positive reinforcement training. And that was really appealing to me. And so it's been a great experience, and one I would never give up.
I couldn't recommend this program more. We have yet to see what Ranger can do. We have yet to see what kind of benefits he's going to give to victims down the road. But in the short time that he's been here, he has already taught us about how important it is to allow those victims to feel comfortable. The district attorney's office is a very intimidating place, and it's even more intimidating for children or for someone who's already been victimized. And having the face of a sweet, gentle, big-hearted dog like Ranger gives them the sense that they can trust the people that are around him. And I think that's one of the things that we struggle with as prosecutors, is the need for a victim to trust us. And how can you not trust a prosecutor when you've got somebody like Ranger next to you?